Turkey is decisive in its efforts through such a period when even the greatest countries of the world face a lot of difficulties. We in our country show a lot of strength in fighting against it. And we see that a large portion of the people who have been infected were of travelers across the world. And in terms of the diagnosis of the disease, and after the number of cases skyrocketed, it has come very clear that many countries of Europe and the USA as well fell short in meeting the demands. And the precautions, the measures Turkey has taken, indeed made the introduction of the disease into the country a bit later compared to the other countries. And the number of the people diagnosed with the disease has increased up to 1,030,000, and the death toll across the world has come to stand at a figure of more than 50,000. And in our country, we have had over 140,000 cases and around 484 deaths. And we know that the fight against the pandemic is only possible through the production of materials and our self-sufficient production methods helped us tremendously in this regard. The modern hospital structures we have and well-trained medical staff showed a great contribution to curb the outbreak. And we, in terms of the medical supplies, are self-sufficient, but beyond that, we are a country that is capable to even export such supplies. And that is why Turkey is very well prepared for such a global pandemic and is one of the countries who can fight against it to curb the outbreak. And what we have to do is to hold on to our solidarity, our brotherhood, our togetherness, and abide by the rules, each and every rule, word by word. The scientific board we have established about the disease helps us follow all the developments unfolding across the world, and the precautions, the measures are accordingly taken and submitted to the presidential offices and reported to us. And we, as the presidential office, keep a close track on all the developments taking place across the world, make our decisions accordingly, and put them in practice, implement. And as I have reiterated before, what we expect our citizens is for them to self-quarantine. Each and every individual should do that. And we know that our people show a sensitivity to abide by the rules, and I, for that reason, extend my gratitudes to everyone. But of course, we know that social isolation, social distancing, personal hygiene, and cleaning like issues are of great importance, and there are still some who do not pay the due attention to those issues, and that is why we need to make those rules sometimes mandatory, compulsory. My great nation, in our fight against that pandemic, we will, as of midnight tonight, will include new steps. As known, we have restricted the intercity public transportation, and it was subject only to a special permit by the local governor's office. And the people traveling with their own passenger cars were checked at the entrance gates of the cities. And as of tonight, the 30 cities, 30 greater cities of our country, and also Zonguldak province, where we have a lot of cardiology related diseases, we will be closing the cities for intercity travel. And we know that other than the logistics vehicles or trucks that carry supply across the cities, passenger cars or individual cars or vehicles will not be allowed to travel across those 31 cities. And the city pandemic councils will be addressing the needs of the cities, and they may need to expand the scope of those measures accordingly. This intercity vehicle travel ban will be applied for 15 days. At the initial stage, if necessary, we will extend the period for that accordingly. And moreover, we, as you know, have a restriction for the senior citizens to go out on the street, and there is a partial lockdown. And for that reason, those young people also will not be allowed to be outside, and this is aimed to protect our young people as well as the senior, because we cannot give any guarantees that keeping the senior citizens at home will do everything. And we know that it is important for everyone to stay at home, and for the citizens who have to step out of their homes, we will have a new practice. As of tomorrow, marketplaces and supermarket-like areas where people come together it will be mandatory for everyone to wear a mask. And at workplaces where people work together, similar measures will be taken. And across the country, we will be trying our best and take all the measures necessary to reduce the human mobility. In all of our provinces, to reduce the mobility, we will take additional measures, and as of tomorrow, city pandemic councils and boards will be implementing all the measures. And in public spaces, people will never be allowed to stand together, to come close to one another, and social distancing will be duly paid attention to. And those who do act on the contrary, will be fined, and there will be no hesitation or no exemption in this regard. Our purpose is not only to protect our own health individually, but also to protect the health and lives of the others in the country. And we have the capacity, as the 83 million people of this country, to control the speed of the pandemic. And the better we pay attention to the rules, the faster we will curb the outbreak. Otherwise, we unfortunately will fall into the same position as many other countries have so far. And I rely on my nation, and in every step we take, we can observe the trust we have in our nation. And our nation, of course, so far has always helped the others, and they embraced the solidarity, the aid campaign uh, initiated. On the third day of the campaign, about 304,000 people, individuals, and institutions have made a donation which is worth of which amounts to 1.6 billion Turkish liras. And using this opportunity, I would like to thank to all the institutions, all the citizens of this country for having showed their solidarity and their contributions. I would like to thank to them personally and on behalf of the whole nation. Even though some people, including the chairperson of CHP, started and tried to defame this campaign, our nation has not listened to their words uttered. We know that in our history and in our country we have always had certain solidarity foundations. For example, during the independence war, before the war started, veteran Mustafa Kemal Atatürk shared a decree, declared an order of 10 bullet points. And in that decree, many issues were addressed, including the necessary items during wars. And a certain portion of that was asked from the country, from the people of the country. And our people back then replied to the demand, to the request of the state authorities, and shared everything they had at hand. Those who do not know their own history still today try to sabotage the campaigns initiated by the state authorities, and they have once again shown how far fetched, how far or distant they fall from the real values of this country. Before I finalize, before I conclude, I would like to use this opportunity to once again extend my special thanks to the healthcare workers, from the technicians to the janitors, to the doctors and to the nurses and everyone. We would like to thank them wholeheartedly, extend our special thanks. Our nation will never forget their efforts exerted. And I again would like to state that Cemil Taşçıoğlu's name will be given, a professor who lost his life due to COVID-19. His name will be given to a hospital. Ok Meydanı Hospital's name will be converted into Professor Cemil Taşçıoğlu City Hospital. And Professor Cemil Taşçıoğlu was a valuable figure. I wish for the grace of God on his soul, and I would like to convey my condolences to his wife, to his family, and to the beloved ones. And I once again wish for the grace of God, mercy of God on those who passed away due to that pandemic, and again convey my condolences to their families. And I wish that we will overcome that difficulty, that predicament, in the fastest and the most effective way. May you all remain in health and welfare. Thank you.